today's video, we're going to be talking about previews. We'll touch just a little bit on thumbnails, but we're focusing on preview videos and preview PDFs. What's the difference? Do you need them both? That sort of stuff. Anyways, if you are new or returning, welcome. I feel like Vanna, you know. Here it is, our primary. We talk, teach your side hustles. So if you've been watching the last couple videos, we've been talking about some changes that have been made already to your, not your storefront here, but to a product page. Let me just go to one right here. So the product page is now been updated. And we talked about that in, again, previous video. What I was asked by one of you, this is a viewer request, is, can I talk about the previews, PDFs, preview videos, which happily, there are some older videos. I think one of them's like over 3 years old, but some of the information has not changed, but there have been some changes that TPT has made, and they're coming into effect April 16th. So let's quickly talk about them. First of all, when you create a TPT product, you have space, we call it real estate, to put a cover, one cover, 3 thumbnails, and then actually I think it's 3. I always think it's 4. It's 4 altogether. Cover, 3 thumbnails, and then a option, these are optional, preview PDF, preview video. Okay, so let's start with the cover and the thumbnail. So you can see in this picture, I try to do a bright so you can see it easier. I'll turn the screen a little bit. If you notice, they are still square. TPT still recommends 750 pixels by 750 pixels. What I do is I go on to Canva and I use the Instagram post square. That's 750 by 750. Okay, and if you're not sure, you can always go into Canva, and you can do this in the free version as well, but you can go into Canva. I have had Canva open. Oh, there it is right there. I have this one, but this is the Instagram square. And if you're not sure about the size, you just go over to the top here where it says resize, and you can see the different ones. There's 500 by 500, but you can custom size it to 750 times 750, and it doesn't really look that different, okay? But your thumbnails are that. Let me just throw a disclaimer in here right now. You have spent hours creating your product, and the last thing you want to do is spend hours making thumbnails and preview videos and PDFs. But that is what is going to sell your product. When I first started, I used the auto generator. When you create that product, in that section, there's a section that says auto generate. We'll do it for you. Don't do that. Let me just tell you, often they just give a snapshot that allows buyers to just take it. There's no preview, no watermark, nothing on it. People can just copy it. One of the things that happened is I had a Google Slides, and I think it was like the second page actually had the link to the Google Slides. So the auto generate posted the link right in the thumbnails. Do you think I got a lot of sales? Strangely, I got a couple, but I was a little bit like, you live and learn, right? Live and learn. Create them. You don't have to use Canva. There are other means of doing them. You can create them in Google Slides. You can create them in PowerPoint. And on occasion, I do them in PowerPoint. I started in PowerPoint. I just find Canva with all their elements and everything, and I just like them. So that's why I use Canva. So that's what you've got. So let's just take a look at this product right here. So this is the last product I made. I do have 2 more almost ready to go upload. I ate popcorn at school last night, and I can feel it tasted in my mouth. Those odd little kernels, right? So as you can see, the new design has got the cover to the side and then your previews just beside it. This is actually bigger than the original, the way they used to be. So I like that. And all you have to do is click on either one of them. So for example, if I click on the cover, it opens up to this, the cover, the 3 thumbnails. And if you notice on my thumbnails, I offer the benefits of this product, the benefits. So it is, I have 3 versions. So I'm showing differentiation. I am telling them that it's available. I'm giving it to you in color and in black and white. I'm giving you an editable checklist for tracking. I'm providing these things. So it's a snapshot. I'm not showing them the entire resource. That's dangerous. Then you have the preview, okay? Before we go on, what is a preview? What is the difference between a thumbnail and a preview? The thumbnail is literally a screenshot of your resource. I kind of give a lot in my thumbnails. I've always done, shouldn't say I've always done that. I used to just give 1 page, 1 page, 1 page. Now I give, especially if it's differentiated, I give a couple. I show the color, a colored version, show a black and white if that resource has them. So I give probably more than I need to technically in a thumbnail, but I want that sale. When your conversion rate is below 5%, it's telling you they looked at your product, but they didn't buy. And this could be why. If this is not sellable, they're not going to buy. But the biggest difference between a thumbnail and a preview is that the thumbnail is just a snapshot. You can show the benefits, whereas the preview is showing them when they open up that resource, what are they getting? So one of the things that I do, and particularly in this resource, is sometimes I go into, when I'm in PowerPoint, there's a feature that you can actually make all your slides into little JPEGs. I've done that in the past. I found that took me too much work because I don't want all of them. Even though sometimes you will see somebody, they'll show a page. Actually, maybe I'll try and show one right here, okay? I'll go back to an old resource, but just proof that this is what you're getting. But what I do with this one is, so for this resource, I think it's about 30 pages. I show them, and it's differentiated. So I show them a color version, a black and white version of various ones. So I'm showing them 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. There's 11 on this particular page. And then I could either watermark it, put the word preview, or as you see what I'm doing here is I'm putting bingo chips on top of them so that someone can't just turn around and copy this. And it's a little bit small, so if they try to enlarge it, might become a little bit blurry. But what I want you to see, and this is where the change is being made, is what I do on the next page. So my preview is a page like this and another page highlighting a bigger product. So I'm doing the upsell. So here I am saying is a bundle is available. Click here. Now, this is the change. TPT, right, as of the 16th, will no longer let you put an external link there. So for example, if these were boom cards and I usually have a preview link, I can't do it in the preview anymore. They will only allow links that stay within the TPT community. I could send them to another product, like here I'm sending them to the bundle, but the issue is, again, you have to put in the full link. You can't use shortened links. I use a bit.ly, bit.ly for shortened links. I do that on YouTube. I do that here on TPT, and you cannot do that on your preview. It still works right now. We're not at the 16th, but as of the 16th, they won't work. So that means I got to go back and fix a lot of previews. And I feel really bad for those who have like 1,000 products. And this is another reason why I don't want 1,000 products. The upgrades are crazy. So they may turn around and change that in the future. Hard to say, but currently this is the way they are. So right now, this link here, if I go down here, it actually shows, like if I click on here, it takes the buyer to the bundle, maybe. But it is also a bit.ly link, so it may not work next week. Oh well, that's them the breaks. Now let me quickly go over to Canva and show you how I do this. And again, it's really, really easy. And I use a template. Let me just say that. It makes it easy when I'm using a template. So let me go to Canva. So this is an existing one. And as I mentioned, I started with a Instagram box, and then I added my text, and then these are all little screenshots from the resource. And I just copy pasted them over. That's all I did. So that's my cover. You want your titles straight across. If you use width, end to end, they're going to read them. Use a clear font. If you're going to use cursive like I've done with the word bingo, make it only one word or something like that, because some people can't see that when they're scrolling on their phone. I put bundle loud and clear. It's a bundle. Okay. And then here are my thumbnails. So what I do is, in this particular product, and I've got one for each month, I use the exact same background, and I just change the color for each different resource. So each resource had a different color. Again, screenshots, I put a couple elements that Canva provides, and I use these circles and highlight things. Look at, so you're going to get 3 different versions, one with 20 boxes, one with 12 boxes, one that's a learning to read. Then the next slide or thumbnail. It's available in black and white and color. Comes with and without due dates. So I show a sample, one with a due date, one without a due date, in case you don't want to do that. In my class, we don't use the due date. We just want them to bring them in. And then here's an editable checklist. Okay, so I'm giving them highlights to what they're going to get when they open it up. So those are my 4. And then and all I do is I go up to that duplicate page there and keep making another one. And then this is in the preview video part, preview PDF. Okay. So then I show them what each month is going to have. And now TPT will also show them the individual resources. One of the things you have to remember is your thumbnails are usually JPEGs. It has to be a certain size. Your preview PDF cannot exceed 30 megabytes, okay? So you can make certain pages the PDF. So what I used to do is I used to make this whole thing the preview PDF, and I have resources. I'm gonna eventually tweak them. But I would, when you go over to share, you can't quite see it on the screen. Let me just move this over a little bit. When you go to share, I'm going to download, but the first 4 pages only, and I'm going to change this to JPEG. If it's a ping, it's too large. Ping is a better quality, not a ton better, but it's slightly better, but it takes up more megabytes or whatever they're called. Okay. Then what I do is I'm selecting certain pages to be JPEGs. So I'm going to do only pages 1 to 4. And I'm going to get rid of this one. And I'm going to download these as JPEGs and then drag them over to the product. But then I'm going to do this again, and I'm going to change the ping to a PDF. And see how it says I can flatten? So you can make resources here as long as you create your own template. You can flatten them. You can also include links in PDFs. You can't include links in JPEGs, but you can include links And now I'm just going to do page 5. Oops, I'll get rid of 1. And then I'm going to download it again. So now I have my preview PDF. So why are PDF previews important? I mentioned this before, but TPT came out one year and said, based on the surveys they've done and just the tracking that they've done, is the number that they gave was 62% of buyers will not buy if you don't have a preview PDF. That's over half. 60%. That's huge. Do you really want to just skip those people? No way. No way. Once I have a template in place, which took me maybe an hour to get and I still keep using that template, so that saves me a lot of time. It's worth it. It's worth it if I'm going to get extra sales because of that. Because there's still sellers that aren't using them. So if they're not going to buy their products, they're going to buy mine. You hope anyways. Now, what is the difference between a preview PDF and a preview video? Okay. I was attending a workshop by, her name is Chloe Taskoff, I think it was. It was during one of those various TPT summits. And she went on and she explained, and this made sense to me, so I use it. And that is that your preview PDF shows what is in this product. So if you've got a product that has 50 worksheets, 20 task cards, and a game, then you're going to show snapshots of some of that, right? Just so they can see it. Whereas the video, the preview video, is showing your product in action. Okay, so some of my preview videos, and I'll try and put a clip here of one of them, is I will do it right from printing it off to cutting it on the paper cutter to laminating it, okay, and then they're ready to go, and then I put them on the wall. They're that easy. That's what you want. You want to show them what they got to do. If it is a worksheet, then have some hands working on it. If it's a craft, have someone making it so that they can see it. People are very visual, and the more you can show them, the better off you'll be. When it comes to videoing my resources, it depends on the resource. Like I said, the one resource that I just showed you was like a classroom management, classroom decor type resource, which sells really well. And I see that a lot of people look, because you can see it in your data, people look at that video. They want to see it in action. Sometimes I've bought things in the past and I open them up going, that's not what I visualized at all. And that's kind of like a shame on me for buying a product that there was no proper preview. Live and learn. So you can just put your phone on a tripod or hold your phone as steady as you can. It costs nothing to buy a small tripod. I have, I don't know, 6 tripods, I think. I have tripods that are handheld, ones that are about this high that go on the tabletop. I have this one here is a stand that goes about as high as 4 feet. I have one that goes to 6 feet if I want to do an aerial. I have a ring light that can be attached to this. So it just depends on how you want to show it. I use iMovie to video mine, but I've also used an app called InShot. And InShot is, especially if you're using your phone, like right now I'm using my phone. If you're using your phone, the app InShot, you can just upload it right onto InShot. It's free, but it will show the InShot logo. That doesn't bother me a bit. And then I can just download it and send it to TPT. Your preview video should not exceed, I think it's a minute, and it's a minute something. It can't be over 1 gig. 1 gig. So if you can get a few extra seconds in there, that's great. But it usually, for me, many of mine land around a minute. So it just depends on the quality of the video, okay? Show it to me on a desk with little hands or your own hands or a friend's hands doing the actual pages, whether it's coloring or, you know, writing out a paragraph or whatever it is, or you can show somebody working at a computer, whatever it is. You can take videos if it's a digital resource like Boom Cards or Google Slides. On my Mac, I go Alt-Shift-5 and I can make a video. That's how I often do my YouTube tutorials. That's how I do that. So when you see sometimes white around here, I'm recording it as well from at the screenshot level, right? The desktop level. The following week's video is all about pricing. And pricing, there is no one answer to this, okay? But we'll talk about the different components to what you want to do with pricing, about things to consider when considering your price. And what I find is the danger on TPT right now is people are underpricing everything, particularly bundles. We've talked about this. It is nuts. You know, $100 bundles are being sold for 20 bucks. I just wish bundles, yeah, I think based on a size, there should be there should be like a minimum. They should be I can't even talk right now. I'm speechless over it all. Anyways, so wherever you are in the world, I hope you and your family are staying safe, being healthy, and we'll catch you in that video or the playlist. See ya.